No, because if it was initiative based, then whoever specialized in initiative would end up doing it a lot. You know what, Ben? I feel like you did pretty freaking good. Um, I wanted to talk to everyone over this next week for my games when it comes to recaps, and about like providing incentives for doing said recaps, but keeping this initiative thing going if everyone's cool with it. So basically, if you do like an exceptional recap, at least as far as I think is exceptional, and like giving you like either like a free reroll at some point in the session, or if people think that's too much, then just like a +2 you can say you want to use on a roll one time in the session. I don't know. Is Are you guys okay with that? Is everyone cool with that? Because I'm not gonna do it if there's people that pose it. Cool. Then Ben, you have one reroll that you can use at any point in this session before the outcome of the die has been determined. The names for which we have misplaced the fellow dwarf and follower of Torag was Azric Battlehorn, another horn named fellow. The vendor slash inn owner that actually ended up fighting in the same square as you guys. Owner of the Rusty Dragon. Her name is Amiko Keijitsu. And I want to say the last man you were talking about was Father Xantis, the one that healed a few of you up. Oh, okay. Mr. Aldern Foxglove. Yeah, you guys just Okay, yeah. Basically, as we'd said before, you guys finish up your conversation with Alderman Foxglove, and now you're heading over towards the front of the cathedral behind that stand. Talk to Father Xantus. You see him um, like wrapping up a civilian in bandages. Uh, well, first you need to identify what's going on, so I'd say a heal check for that. Are you trying to help Father Xantus with the person he's bandaging? Okay. Yeah, give me a heal check. He's like wrapping up the legs of this person. Okay, yeah, that's enough to see that there are multiple bites on the exposed leg that look like they're probably from the goblins and goblin dogs. It's not uncommon for goblins to assault Sandpoint, but not in numbers like this. I haven't seen something like this in my lifetime. I'd be surprised if it was some kind of coordinated attack. Goblins, if allowed to amass in the numbers for which we saw today, can only sustain themselves off of raiding, and Sandpoint must have been a juicy enough target for them. 10 Point doesn't have much else to offer goblins. There isn't a unified force big enough to go take care of the various goblin tribes in the hinterlands. And they're normally. I'm sorry, son. He kind of looks up at you, waiting for you to speak. Well, normally they're not an issue because they're fighting amongst themselves. Looks like whatever tribe these fellows came from, and he kind of like gestures towards one of the bodies not far away from him. Looks like they're just doing better than most. Yeah. If you want to go check out one of the bodies, you can totally do that. Just give me like a perception check. And if for people that have been in Varisia for a while, especially if you're a local, you can give me some knowledge local checks if you just want to try and identify what tribe they are based on like the way they look. If you're a local, I can at the very least tell you like whether or not they're from around here. Okay, so Aldic, you don't find any like insignia or something that would point to them being from a specific tribe. Same with you, Rakis. Like, while they do seem to have, about the same type of clothing with the standard goblin variation, there isn't like a symbol if this tribe does have one. Yeah, yeah, you can go check her out. Yeah, I did hear what you were saying, Kiefer, but you do seem to be a little bit quiet today. And like, I'm gonna have him roll a check real quick. A glance, basically, to identify the extent of your wounds. So he looks at you and he says, "Give me a few moments, my son. I need to take care of this young man." You hear like Father Xanthus chuckle softly. Yeah, it looks like the war chanter didn't have any insignia on her, but like I would give you the like goblins normally worship evil deities, specifically like the Mother of Monsters is a big one. There are a few goblin specific gods as well, though I think they're like less commonly known. Yeah, yeah. If you give me a knowledge religion, this would be a good place for it. Um, okay, so I can tell you a little bit about the gods they have. So most of their gods are actually these like they're called hero gods, the four hero gods, and they're goblins that are minor deities that serve under Asmodeus, and they basically are just they were regular goblins at one point that just did so many like uh, amazing feats that they became demigods in and of themselves. So it's basically Lamashtu, and then a lot of goblins will also worship like one of these goblin hero gods, depending on which one is more prominent in their tribe. Basically, which one they think's cooler, because that's like something a lot of them strive to be as a goblin hero. That's like a big thing in general, and then potentially becoming the fifth goblin hero god. As long as I've lived, at least on this scale. A leader of some type, perhaps. Goblins will ride anything but horses. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a large rat. While there are many aspects of the Swallowtail Festival that make it a unique event and day of worship, this specific Swallowtail Festival sticks out in that we have christened the new cathedral. After like 10 minutes, the father gets done taking care of his current patient, and he'll come on over and help anyone who wants him to check you over. And he's like, come with me, my son, and he kind of brings you over next to the steps of the cathedral, and he like has you lean back on the stairs so you're kind of at a like angle, and he starts like inspecting your wound. He looks over it, uh, says, well, I can give you some basic covering so the infection doesn't spread. This is something that will only heal with time. Fortunately, all of Desna's blessings have passed through me today. There were so many to help. May Desna be with you, my son. You see him do like a Desna like hand symbol. Probably looks like a butterfly. I guess like is that the way you view it personally, or is that the way your character views it? Yeah. Because it used to feel weird to me too, but like now that like I understand more about how religion works in Gloria, and it's kind of like, seems to be a thing that happens a lot. There's so many gods out there. It's, it's regional, but there's just so many more in this setting that it's pretty common. Hail Asmodeus. Okay, what's your guys' plan from here? The ball rolls in the direction you say it rolls. The Rusty Dragon. Okay. As you guys start walking away from the square, once you kind of leave Father Xantus, you see that most of the people in town have like either started walking back to their homes or already retreated them. The streets are pretty clear. But the handful of people you do walk by, like see you all covered in cuts, sweaty, and most of them like thank you as you walk by. On a short time later, when you get to the Rusty Dragon Inn, it's maybe not as bubbly as you imagined it earlier in the day. For those of you that had heard about it slash talked about it, but there are quite a few patrons in here. Most of them in smaller groups, with a few individuals sprinkled in, and there's like a low buzz going on in there right now. Nice warm feeling when you walk in, and it has this, slightly uncomfortable silence in here. Okay. Yeah, you look around the room, and Aldern is not a hard man to spot. He is the fanciest dressed man here. You see him in a booth, and there are two younger men sitting in the booth with him, both at the very edge of the like circular booth he's in. Right, when you come over, um, he like makes this shooing gesture towards the two men at the end of the booth, and he says, "Go tell Amiku and Bethna that we need a hero's feast." And you see the two younger men quickly get out of their seats and head towards like the bar in the inn. Ah, the heroes of Sandpoint. Please come take a seat. Well, of course you're heroes. Those daring acts, you saved me and so many others. It was a shame. It's hard to get good hunting dogs around these parts. But by next season, I'll have more. Yeah, he scoots into the middle, so he's like the farthest way from the edges, so you guys can just fill in around him. While I do fancy myself a huntsman, I will not pretend to be a professional. I'm a foxglove from Magnamar. Are any of you familiar? And he kind of, you see him take like a little brooch off his undershirt and kind of readjust it. If you give me a knowledge local check, I'll give it to you. Or nobility would actually be another way to do it. That would be easier. Untrained technically would just give you a 10 at best, which is like average knowledge for someone. And I'm gonna be honest, Ben, I don't remember where your character hails from. Okay. Yeah. So effectively, unless it's something like very niche that you don't think your character would know, don't just don't roll untrained skills that need to be trained. So knowledge is an example, because a 10 in a knowledge skill is just assumed knowledge, and that's the highest you can get with an untrained skill that needs to be trained. Kind of weird, but it's basically there just to be like, is this something your character would have knowledge of? Well, have they been in this situation before? Yeah. Yeah. No, you would definitely know who the foxgloves are. They're one of the noble families there, and they actually have a pretty sizable hand when it comes to trade that goes through Magnamar, one of the biggest cities in Borussia. Oh, a fellow Magnamaran. Oh, it's hard to find those around here. I came up here on vacation. I heard there was good boar hunting around here. Well, not this outfit exactly, of course. That would just be foolish. But if you guys would be interested in joining me, I would love to bring the Heroes of Sandpoint along on this hunt with me. Boar hunting is a little bit different than quite a few animals. It's mostly done by horseback to track them, then running them in the direction of a spot where we can corral them and stab them with boar hunting spears. Kind of looks over at you, sizing you up, and he's like, "You don't do yourself justice." Yeah. If you're worried that a spear fit for my size is too large for you, it would be no hassle at all for me to acquire one sized for you appropriately. Where's the sportsmanship in that? Of course, that's an assumed piece of hunting, but we shouldn't go in planning to be ungentlemanly. God, Gods forbid any of us acquire any wounds. That's the last thing we should expect. Possibility, but Aldern. I don't plan on hunting today. I was thinking tomorrow or perhaps the day after. Yeah, like the sun has like begun to set at this point. I think you hear a very loud like laugh come out of Aldern, almost obnoxiously so. Gives you like a hearty pat on the back, kind of reaches over to do it. I don't think too long after you see Miko and Bethna come over, each carrying um, meals and drinks for all of you. And this is probably like the point where you see like Amiko bend over with all the platters in her arms, and it's like a mix of like noodles, and like half of them are like noodles, and the other half are that spiced salmon that you guys had earlier in the day. She just starts sliding them around the table. Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought I shared it with you already. Oh, yeah, I did. You guys already have it. I'll reshare it though. He says, just Amiko, please. I'm not gonna make you guys pay for his room. I'm assuming he's here with you guys. Um, right? He's shadowing you guys. Of course, that's why I came out to help Bethana. I wanted to extend a week's free night stay to the five of you. We're the ones that should be thanking you for helping our town out. Kind of does a very tight bow. And she gives you like a little smile out the side of her face and she says, well, living in Sandpoint, more than a few of us have to be kind of rolls her shoulders back. Useful. And then she like stops being so tight and she just kind of leans back a little bit and chuckles. Now, if there's anything else that the six of you would need, please ask Betha now. And she heads back off to the kitchen as Bethana starts handing out your guys' drinks. Okay. What's everyone else's plan for the night? Okay. Okay. Well, like I said, she just went back into basically back behind the bar. There's like a very standard bar where there's some like stools that people can sit at, and then she's gone behind that through this like open door frame, where presumably like the kitchen is where they're cooking all this. Okay. Yeah. Then are you just gonna like walk into the kitchen? Yeah, she comes out like regularly from like back in the kitchen up to the bar to like bring Bethana the food so she can go take it out. He's a wealthy nobleman from down south. Very kind patron. Why do you ask? She smiles at that. She nods at you and she says, "Of course, anything I can do to help." Gives you a kind little smile. Or she heads back into the kitchen. Okay. Any other plans for the night, everyone? Cool. Nice. Let me throw everyone through a long rest real quick. There is not, unless you're willing to pay for a really nice room. Yeah, sleeping in your armor, normally not the best idea. You see people take like the handful of traits. when you see people take the handful of things like endurance, for example, like okay, I get it, you guys can sleep in your armor, but when people like most people tend to be like, and I comfortably sleep in my armor, and yeah, but there you go. That is the best way to look at it. But there's just for some reason so many people that are like, it's just like laying in a bed. This is right. My plate armor has memory foam in it. I need to make like a salesman character that is selling like cushion inserts for body armor. Yeah, I think the next morning, all of you are gonna receive knocks at your door. Um, Basically as the sun is rising, and Aldern's. You guys all have separate rooms. You're just all gonna receive knocks. Basically, like one of Aldern's associates is gonna come up and let you know that the horses are being prepared. Yeah, basically like Mr. Foxglove's horses are being prepared, and he's requested your presence. Yeah, I think there is like Miko and Bethna get pretty early starts just because there isn't a set time for breakfast. It's just when your customers show up. And yeah, in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Aldern is down there ready to like bombard you guys with questions. Of course, what kind of host am I? Let's wait until we get our breakfast down our gullets. We're actually going into the Tickwood, from my understanding. There's a plateau not only a few miles from here. Take less than an hour to get to. Supposedly good boar hunting there. I don't think a cart would be something we should take out into the tickwood. That very impractical. I think if my manservants can ride a horse, there shouldn't be any problem for all of you. They're much less skilled than the heroes of Sandpoint. Then I think Aldern will just like you can tell he's like bottling it up, but he will remain in silence for the rest of breakfast, as like you guys are all eating unless you say something to him. Oh, my personal favorite, well, not hunting, depending on who you ask, was actually going fishing uh, about 10 miles outside of Magnamar on this very large galleon. It was quite entertaining. The things you could catch at sea, someone would surprise you. Exactly, thank you. Some people don't understand that. He like points his finger from like his nose to your face. A tuna fish, the size, and he like reaches his hands out like as far as he can, like and just a bit beyond that. That's fair. Yeah, he's exaggerating. Well, it's not unheard of to get fish like that big at Magnemar around there. Like at the very least, him doing it by himself would be extremely hard with the advancements in fishing technology in Galorian. Like, there isn't like a fishing pole for which you could hunt a fish that size reliably unless you were like some kind of engineer who crafted your own. So it's much more likely that either he's just bald-faced lying about the size, or if it was that big, one or more people helped him. Pulls a Grindylow up. Or devilfish. There we go. That's even bigger. Actually, I've only gone out a few times into the bay itself, and that was the one time I actually went out to sea on a fishing trip. I'm much more of a riverman myself. Salmon, like amigos. You come all the way from the Five King Mountains. Now that's a tale I'd love to hear. Ah, of course. One of the local legends. Very interesting. Oh, just as much as the next man. I personally wouldn't be surprised if it was some kind of goblin, he says as he leans in closer to you. Oh no, just like as soon as he's done saying goblin, he like comes back to his respective spot. No, he just didn't want to like say it out loud since there was a major goblin attack yesterday. He says, if you think it would help, after the hunt, I could have one of my manservants go around town and question people about it. Anything I can do to help. Just let me know. After the meal, you guys head on down the road. I have reshared a picture of Sandpoint. I believe there should be names on it now. Can I get a confirmation from at least one of you? Perfect. Yeah, fuck. I forgot. For some reason, I don't know if it's this adventure path or just around the time that I started doing this adventure path, they didn't update. But for some reason, the images don't default to you guys knowing what the images are called. I just readjusted it though, so it might not have a moment ago. Yeah, so you guys are in the Rusty Dragon Inn, which is down towards the pretty much the very far south of Sandpoint, and right next to it is the Goblin Squash stables. So as like Aldern like has all of you come out of the booth and head out the door of the Rusty Dragon. Once you're all done with your meals, obviously he's not gonna like force you guys to leave before you eat. Um, you're gonna see both of his manservants standing just in between the Rusty Dragon and the Goblin Squash stables with enough horses for all of you. That's actually one of the places that was serving food yesterday. They actually, if you guys checked out their booth yesterday, they actually primarily serve like seafood. No, it's dude, you guys want to talk about sidetracks? My first group that I'm still running through this right now, they spent 5 sessions worth of time interacting with the second chapter of events and the entirety of the town. They really didn't. There's just a lot here if you want to interact with it. I think maybe they went to like a third of the named places. Let's get some ride checks like as you guys are hopping onto the horses just to see how your guys' day just goes generally out there. Okay. If you're doing that, we are assuming you're using guidance for the entirety of your like stint on the horse. Okay. No, neither am I. I just think it's kind of funny. It's like a couple hours of him every like minute just Oh, yeah, all of you would be receiving assistance from Aldern's manservants. I think it's kind of funny that John's character, yeah, in whatever way you guys are comfortable with getting assistance. And I think the servant would actually just cup their hand for you to step on because they don't have something as fancy as that. And then just kind of lift it up slightly so you can get up there. I think it's kind of funny that John, sorry, yeah, the lowest you can get is a one. Yeah, so it looks like the only one not having difficulty on the hunting trip today is Rakis. Everyone else is like having a below average to just Denton is just having a horrible time today. Just extremely uncomfortable. Like you can't get your horse under control. And so you're just like constantly either going too fast or too slow with the group. I yes, but there's gonna be some stuff that happens in between. So that's why I haven't just cut scene. Um, basically, like after you guys mount up and you start walking out of town, um, like Aldern is gonna start once again bombarding you guys with questions. I wouldn't actually call it bombarding, at least not at first. Um, and he just does it in a roundhouse way. Like I assume he got all of your names. I know he got a few of them in the fight yesterday, but I assume he got the rest of them during your meal last night. It wasn't the thing, like he definitely didn't ask it right away, but he would have got it at some point throughout the night. Um, so he'd start asking like, Brackus, that's one of the hero of Sandpoints. Where did you get your start? Oof. You see kind of a somber face envelop Alden Foxglove for a moment. Sorry to hear that. I guess not all tales of adventure start off on the lightest note. There's a very optimistic way to look at it. Osgik, how did well, halflings such as yourself muster up the courage to stand against such vile creatures? I have heard the arcane arts can help. I don't participate in them myself, but it is quite fascinating. Never quite grasp how it works. That's mightily convenient. And like one of the manservants, you see him like he starts to say something, like he chimes in, and then immediately Aldern is like, quiet. I don't pay you to speak, I pay you to help. Dennis over here, he can go on and on about nothing. Be quite obnoxious. I forgive you, Dennis. Very much so. And he'll continue asking all of you questions throughout the adventure, and talking with you about himself and events, that whatever basically you guys are willing to talk about, he'll talk about you with. And I think he like keenly focuses on like Denton specifically. Like seems to particularly be infatuated with your accomplishments and just anything you're willing to throw his direction. And after about like an hour's worth of travel, so like there wasn't, a crazy amount of conversation. I'm sure you guys have been on a road trip and talked for an hour. Uh, you guys get onto this plateau that he'd been talking about the night before, and you get to a point where the trees are even thicker, so there's a nice canopy above you with not so much light coming through, and it's fairly wet in this area. Um, and you guys come up to a place where there's a bunch of animal tracks. Mr. Foxglove says, "Are any of you skilled trackers? I'd love to see one of you at work." Aldern starts looking around eagerly. So most skill checks you can. It's primarily dependent on like the GM, or in this case the GM and the adventure path. And in this case, I would allow it. Um, so if you want to aid him, you can give him that +2. I'll just have him reroll. A 10 is the default. Yeah. Occasionally, special circumstances will change it, but it's like 99% of the time. Okay, then John, can we get a reroll? You didn't give yourself the +2. The modifier box in the bottom left. Okay, so like there's a bunch of animal tracks, like in this muddy spot, a bunch of imprints, and I think you guys start like picking them out. Like what's the dynamic between the two of you when it comes to like tracking? And how does Rackus help? Okay, so Aldic and Rackus like start combing through like a bunch of animal tracks in the mud, all these impressions. Rackus picks one out, and Aldic starts following it with his dwarf eyes. And the path itself, like you guys would need to hop up on your horses because it does go some distance off. Um, and this is the traditional way to hunt. But you follow it, and it actually steps down just barely off the plateau and wraps around it. And this is a trail you're gonna follow for like hours. It wraps around um, the plateau itself and then loops back in through it after a few hours and comes back um, like within eyesight of your original location. You just spent about 5 hours doing a very large circle to less than like 200 yards from where you started, basically. I really don't think you can. Like they are following a boar trail, and there isn't some way to like just be like, oh no, there's actually tracks. Like one of these animal tracks is actually boar over there. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna say it's like noon by now. How is anyone here familiar with the Tickwood? Okay. Do you guys want to give me some knowledge of nature or geography would be even better if you want to know a little bit about it. Local would work too. These are all going to give you a little bit different answers. Okay, yeah, Rackus. I think this would be something that you would have either identified in your travels if you'd passed through here, which is probable since it's the woodland area right next to Sandpoint. Um, or if you were just discovering this as you're going through it throughout the hours of board tracking. Um, the Tickwood probably got its name. This is something you'd probably be able to identify based on other markings you'd find specifically on some of the tree canopies around you. I think this would be something you'd be able to identify. It gets its name from what you can tell by these basically grooves in a bunch of branches sporadically spread out through the higher tops of these canopies from like giant ticks. Like you can tell that these are the markings of a giant tick. Yeah. We're talking like large dog-sized ticks. Yeah, don't make assumptions like that because I'm just about to completely disregard that because when you get to the end of this trail, there is like a small pool of water in this like small clearing with a few trees sprinkled in, and you see a boar drinking water from it. I think they would be on your horses. So I can actually hand you a few boar spears real quick. If you, yeah, I think you all do in the distance. It would be like Aldic pointing it out. Okay. Just for context, if you guys, wow, great stealth. Uh, in the future, when rolling stealth checks, I believe the dice tower should be visible on your guys' end. Can you see it in the bottom right? Okay, in the future, when doing stealth or sense motive, every time you do that, it will be done in the dice tower. And sometimes I might ask for other rolls. It's just gonna make it so you guys can't see the roll, only I can. A little bit of spice. No, I'm not gonna. I mean, I'm not gonna make you reroll. Like I said, we'll do it for like future checks. I hadn't told you guys that before, so I'm not gonna make you reroll. Okay, I see people rolling dice, but I have no context for why. I really would prefer that you let me know before you roll. Um, and like, if you guys are boar hunting, at least the way it's been told for all of you, you will not be on horseback. You would be getting off at this point. And there are boar spears in the party inventory for you all to grab. Um, Osgic, you're gonna have to adjust the hit die for yours. Do you know how to do that? Yeah, it'll go down one. You'll just drag it into your inventory. Yeah, I don't actually know how the weight decreases for resizing. It's quartered. Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. I would have assumed half, but I don't. No, just if you think it's quartered, we can go with quartered. I don't think it's a big deal right now. I'll just check after session. Right? Okay, so the way to adjust the die is on the actions tab. You'll hit the little microscope on. Okay, cool. It looks like we have two spears that haven't been taken. Are those going to be grabbed? Okay. It's just like all of the dragging of stuff is just like it would be for anything else. Yeah. Okay, so I know that Denton is staying on his horse. What is everyone else doing? Okay. You guys are like northwest of this like clearing. Is there any specific direction you want to approach? The boar is basically like the southeast drinking water, kind of looking towards the west. Not yet. Like I said, it's a clearing, so you can see it like off in the distance a little bit. It might be able to see you, but it's not looking for you. I share a nice blank map with you guys that I will make not blank when I know where you want to approach from. Okay, kind of down by where it is. Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down. It's definitely not lit. That doesn't help when I only know where one person's coming from. Oh, you can actually see the tokens? Okay. Yeah, so Aldern's on there and then Ozkik's on there. You know, that is pretty good idea. Cool. I'm gonna throw you next to him. Yeah, so new maps, vision, stuff, fun. It was a little different last week. I have a slightly better understanding now, at least as good as it can be with this extremely primitive system that they haven't finished but have forced on all of us. So it should be slightly better this week. At least that's the plan. I'm don't not using line of sight, just period on this map. I don't think you guys need to worry about that. It should be visible to all of you from my understanding, but the foliage should block vision. Okay, where am I throwing Aldic? No, just give me a direction or a. Okay. Okay. And last but not least, where are we putting Rakkus? Okay. Throw you up over there. And one last question. So I have a Osgic, Rakkus, and Denton stealth check. Do we want an Aldic stealth check? Mhm. No, that was a question. Okay. The boar isn't actually going anywhere as you are approaching it. It's like drinking from the water down here. And if you guys want to all roll initiative, this would be a good place to do that. Anything's a throwing weapon if you try hard enough. I think these boar spears are just the tri-tip ones, like the primitive initial ones, but eventually they were supposed to be able to like just be thrown in there and like so they'd stick so when it ran around the spears would still be in there. Okay, so some of you will be acting in the surprise round and others will not. I think the boar and Osgek will both be acting in the surprise round. Yeah, yeah, move or standard. Okay. You see the boar whip around in the direction of like the just like the northeast in general. No, and it like starts slowly backing up. And then we'll start round one. Yeah, too bad you're not like a an arcane trickster. Go up and stab them and use your magic. Okay. Aldic, I believe you can see the boar kind of backing up towards the west. Yeah. Um, Technically, depending on like what kind of action you want to do, since you are just dedicating to movement, you can technically do more. Um, you can like if you're just doing in a straight line, you can technically run at like times three. So you could do 60 feet if it's in a straight line. And that's like entirely dependent on where you are, but you're in this big open place, so it's an option. And if that's the end of your turn, just adjust it on the combat tracker. It, in the bottom left, there's a white arrow and a black background that points down. Nice. So the boar is gonna continue backing up, and it like hears this person behind it, flips around, realizes there's actually fucking two of them, and then bolts it. It's gonna run all the way over here and end its turn. Yeah, you should be able to. Yeah, I'm gonna say no. It'd be going through the foliage. These are like pine trees right here. I think that's what they're supposed to be. They're not though. Yeah, I think those are roots that are sticking out. They're weird roots. Maybe they're not pine trees, but I don't think you can go through them based on the description of the forest. At least not without it being difficult terrain. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you got 6 seconds of space with a tiny bit of leeway. Gonna move forward and brace for the boar in case it charges at us. Yeah, yeah. We can adjust your initiative to his. I don't think you can. That's why I did it. Yeah, he moves forward. And you see him like get into a slightly lower stance, and hold his spear up. Oh, why didn't it go to Denton? It should have gone to Denton. I'm sorry. Okay. I think out of everyone, it is most understandable for you to feel that way. Yeah, it's gonna run up here. You see Aldern, he's actually going to kind of sidestep the boar. And brace once again. Did you grab a boar spear, Ben? Okay. What spell were you trying to use? What's the name of the ability? Okay, I don't even see it on your sheet. Oh. It looks like you have it set up to be a will save that gives them confused. Yes, let me check. If failed, yeah. Okay. Are you gonna cast the spell? I said if it failed, you have to like you need to target it. So control click Tickwood, the Tickwood boar. It looks like it should. It looks like it's set up properly. Okay, and then there should be a save button you can click on for Confusion Lesser. You hit the microscope on it. There you go. Now you can apply the effect. Yeah, what does it look like when you cast Lesser Confusion? That last piece of log that you went through, I'm going to say that would be difficult terrain. Yeah. Yeah, if you can see them, then it checks out. Oh, and just as a note for the running, you can only do that a number of times, like a number of rounds equal to your con score. And that's like per combat. 17 times in Aldous' case. Yeah, not modifier, your actual score. 17 times. This is a high tier, like high level combat where you're like running around and flipping switches every other round. I'm thinking like Divinity Original Sin battles where there's some fucking there's some fights where you really do have someone just running around for a bunch of turns. Okay. And you see the boar with its glaze over eyes um kind of just stops. It looks around and turns towards Denton to attack him. Oh, it would be better if I didn't have Aldic selected though. For those of you that don't know, Lesser Confusion is a really cool thing where basically a will save, which is pretty good in the case of Denton's Lesser Confusion. And then there's a D100 table you roll on, and it has 4 different effects that can take that can happen. So in this case, as you're about to find out, he rolled low, so he's going to get a -2 on his attacks, but he will attack regularly this round. Oh, and that definitely misses. Yeah, it turns around, like I said, glazy eyes, and it just tries to like swing at you in this weird like sideways motion that looks very unnatural, and you easily dodge out of the way. Yes, but like in the case of this spell, it actually works, Ben. Yeah. Generally speaking, though, pull the ones that end in Y because I know those are handcrafted, which means they always work. I don't know if you guys have seen boars before, but they're actually a lot tinier than they're normally depicted in like movies or images. That's fair. Easier to get on than the horse, though. You could probably do this one by yourself if you saddled and tamed it. It might be a little bit out of the scope of your capabilities. And you are going to see Aldern run up and try and stab the boar. And, sorry, what were you saying? No, I didn't. Good call, though. And he jabs his spore into this boar. Unlike most people, you're not going to be able to see like what's going on in his hand, but he does manage to jab it into the back of this boar, and you see a wound start to bleed from where his spear has been left. Nice. Sounds like a song. Uh, yeah. Giant ticks, a buffet. You give yourself a +2? Doesn't look like you did. Yeah, there you go. You used Vision of Madness last session, right? Okay, you already played it. Cool. Brace. Okay, the creature is gonna disengage, but that means Rakus is going to be able to do an attack of opportunity. Assuming you're holding your boar spear still. No, there shouldn't be. Okay, and this boar takes off over here, runs down towards Oscar. Well, it's disengaging. Yeah, it has 40 feet of movement. Let's see. Is there a straight path from you to it? Yeah, there's a bush in your way, it looks like. Okay. Alden's gonna move up and brace. Yeah, so if you target everyone, you should be able to apply the effect. What does Denton's Bless look like? The reason I'm asking is I'm just trying to get everyone to maintain like more in combat than just I move and hit. Trying to keep it descriptive because otherwise it gets kind of boring for most people. Yeah. Mouse wheel, maybe? When it's not your turn, go to options, guys, and there should be a option to turn off for auto centering. John, I actually was looking while a couple of you were doing your rounds, and it looks like they've actually redded the run action, so it's still a full round action that you can only take amount of rounds equal to your Constitution score. But they've made it so it's actually four times instead of three. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm not expecting you to do that. And they did make one other noteworthy change. It's that you can do it more now than your Constitution score, but you have to succeed checks after like Constitution checks after you exceed your Constitution score equal of rounds of running in a fight. That's cool. Like that's pretty big change actually. Okay. Osgic is in between this boar and the path it wants to follow. So it's gonna move up, try and attack him. Oh, that was double clicked, my bad. Nope, don't do that. Because I still have Denton selected. Now we're good. There you go. So it steps forward as you back up, lunges out at you. Can't do a proper lunge though because you have your boar spear at the ready. This guy. Aldern moves up and braces once again. This it's a pool of water. I'm gonna say if you're moving through it, it's difficult terrain. Yeah. Yeah, so like with the way I rule it, that first square would be difficult, but the second one wouldn't. You've got it in a good position, Osgic. So sorry about your luck, John. Expect the unexpected. Well, you're with Nobility now, John. Remember that that scene in like the like Rocky Mountains where like Gimli is running around talking about being good at short sprints? I also think it's kind of funny, like the not the name that you chose for your character, John, but the fact that there are two characters you've interacted with at the beginning of the campaign who have similar names. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. The other dwarf and then the nobleman. Maybe there's connections there I don't know about. Okay, you are not immediately in its way. On a 5 foot step, move up to attack you, Osgic. Because you're small and you're by yourself. Don't don't forget point blank if you're gonna use it and the firing into combat. Rough. Aldic, being the crafty man he is gonna try and move in there. Get a nice little flank in with Osgic. Fortunately, he's going to miss just barely. This time, as he's like coming out of the brush because he had to move through the like underbrush of the tree to not get attacked by the boar, kind of comes out with like his spear raised high just because it was the most convenient to move through. Like brings it down in an awkward motion. Yes, you are very much so. Yeah, no. Unless they say they're resisting it, you don't need to roll. It must be a weird experience, like having people cast new spells on you. You just imagine the first time someone does something that like adjusts the way you look. You're like, oh my fucking god. It's true. That's the end. As you pull your spear out, the creature falls forward onto the ground, its legs buckling beneath it, twitches for a moment before it stops.
Raucous would be very excited for Osgig. I thought you've never hunted before. You did so good. I was afraid for you.
That was my first time killing something like that without using magic.
Ah, then you must eat the heart, if this is your first kill in a hunt.
Okay.
Yes.
You gotta do it raw, though.
Yeah, I've totally heard about that. You should do that. I'm gonna bluff.
My character just has the great amount of skills.
Raucous being serious.
It's probably another skill we should put on the list of
Into the tower.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I feel
Before we
like maybe
handle
just
animals,
all of
is
the
there anything else?
diplomacy skills, sense motive, and stealth should just like always be that, and then other stuff will be situational.
Okay.
Denton, what spell did you cast on me? I have not seen that one before.
Oh, Shield of Faith. Something most clerics do, but mine's a little trickier than, most clerics.
Okay.
Perfect timing, I may add. Right at the end. We're safe now. And actually, looking around, is anyone hurt? Other than the large gashes we brought with us?
Speaking of, then if you could be so kind.
I don't know why we didn't do this earlier. I was very focused on my horse.
That's right. It's okay. Hey, nothing builds character quite like running around in the field with an open wound or a closed up wound.
It's been a long morning.
Yeah. Yeah. So you could just cast Cure Light Wounds, that would be
We
great.
did ride around for 5 hours while you had this gash still.
So
That'd be
Just a
so
second.
painful.
It just builds character.
basically, I just have to sacrifice a spell to do it. So just a second. It looks like I
Alright.
cast command.
Yeah. There should actually, if you hit the microscope, there should be like a heal option if you've targeted him.
Yeah.
All
it goes.
right. Yeah, there we go.
Hey, and
Ah.
your curse is lifted. No longer the least effort I could do.
Ah. Thank you. I feel much better. Much better. All right.
You don't need those bandages anymore.
Yep. And Aldeck just casually throws them into like undoubtedly polluting the water. No. He just stuffs them in his bag to throw away later.
An environmentally conscious dwarf.
In a party without a druid, too.
Yeah.
Hey, you don't have to be a
Practice
druid to
metagaming,
care
sure.
about the environment.
Right.
That sounds like something that Wizards of the Coast would post on like Earth Day.
Right. This is-
I mean,
all right.
we're asking the deep questions, you know? Like, do you litter? Are there bathrooms?
I imagine. Well, I imagine like there's stuff like outhouses and general holes in the ground that you would do for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, looks like you got yourself a boar there, Mr. Foxglove. What do you intend to do with it?
It's all of ours, boars. I think tonight we will take this magnificent beast back to the Rusty Dragon and ask Amiko to prepare it.
Sounds good with me. Any objections?
If only someone had thought ahead and brought a cart.
We had
Nah,
one.
we could sling it over one of the horses. Probably
Yeah.
my horse isn't carrying much.
I think, do we have to butcher it at all first? We have manservants. Like, will it all fit on one horse?
Yeah, make one of the manservants walk home.
Yeah.
It's probably about me size, so we could just sling it over a horseback.
Perfect.
Foxglove chimes in. He just says, "None of you need to worry about this. We'll have our servants take care of it." And he like whistles very loudly, and you see them. One of them come over, and he has a couple horses with him, and he like slings the boar onto the back of his.
Hooray, another
There.
ride.
Right. Back to the Rusty Dragon.
And there
Is
is
this,
preparation work, but unless any of you want to help with it, it only takes like a few minutes because they're not like doing like a full skin of it here and now. They're just making it so it can be traveled with.
Is this a sign that I'm standing next to?
I think it's just supposed to be like a stick with a rock next to it.
It kind of looks like a sign. That's so weird.
Huh,
I
it
know.
says alligators danger.
Yeah.
Roll
Yeah.
initiative.
No swimming. Live piranhas.
Right? I've been standing in this for a minute.
Right.
Water
Leeches, what
attracts ticks.
Oh no. Actually, that's a good
I
point.
think you would notice if there was a tick involved.
Right.
Suddenly, from the tree to your right.
At the church, we learned about a different kind of bloodsucker. I'd really like to get out of these woods before it gets too dark.
I agree.
Of
Agreed.
course. Our hunt has been finished. We will head back triumphantly. How thick is Denton's skin when it comes to like Aldern's questioning that like it goes from like just very mild like fanboying like all the way up to like just pure annoyance by the end of the adventure.
Sure. I haven't done much. This is level 1. But I tell him generally about my family, I guess. Not too much. Do you want me to just narrate it?
Yeah, because I imagine like the rest of the party would hear this too, right? Like he's
Sure.
asking all of you questions. He's just focusing a lot on Denton.
So yeah, if Aldern is asking me what my childhood was like, I guess.
Yeah,
I
he'd
will-
honestly be asking you, like, all of you, just like anything you're willing to tell. So like if you guys want to like share knowledge of your character, this would be the time to do it. He just, by the end of the adventure, he's focused a lot more on Denton than anyone else.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say as a child, I grew up on the outskirts of Magnamar. We were pretty poor. My father raised me for most of my life by himself. We were so poor we actually had to live out near quite a few farms. Actually, as a child, I was kept up at night constantly by the horses if there was a storm. My father, you know, trying to make the best of it, used to always joke, our neighbors are neighbors. But I saw through it, and as soon as I got of age, I went to the big city. Learned at the cathedral all about the different gods, and we'll say one found me.
Would anyone else like to share some info about their characters with the party?
My character would prattle on and on if you let him about Thessalonian artifacts and Thessalonian history.
Okay. Yeah. I will be honest, like while Mr. Foxglove is very interested in it, he doesn't have like any actual knowledge about it, so it's like he's just asking you questions that like are trivial for you to answer.
I would go into great detail about each of the answers too.
That's good to know.
Aldeck would probably go into some background about his training to become a paladin of Torre. Again, not talking about any before a certain point. Like it seems like he's very hesitant to talk about anything about his family, but he will happily tell stories about his time as in essentially a academy for Torag worship. And goes on about how times were tough and the training were tough, but I made me a better dwarf for it.
Now, I think Foxglove he'll pick up on this very quickly, and he's very well versed, especially like he's very skilled in the art of conversation. So he's pretty good at like navigating around that and picking the pieces out of the conversation that you're more comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
What about Rakus? How much does he offer in this like little over an hour's journey?
I think the only thing that he would maybe add in addition to that is just talking about his family's fletchering, and then going into like how the survivors of the village turn into a very giant focused combatant group.
I think that would actually surprise him a lot, seeing as he would like initially in the conversation be trying to avoid that, since like it is kind of like the kind of subject you wouldn't normally talk about. It's a little on the darker side what happened to you, but
Oh yeah, but so Raucus is very open about it because he's like, yes, this is what giants are doing. Giants are bad.
and he's
Fuck the
definitely really
Giants.
like willing to bolster that statement right there, because like while they're not a menace that like most people can comment on, because he is a man in the know, he knows that like to the east they're a very big problem. And because he's a noble and his family's an enterprising noble family, he knows that some of the frontier to the east, a big chunk of it, there's a lot of pressure between giants and like expansionism from regular humanoids. So he's willing to talk with you about that for a little bit, but he's definitely, even if you're willing like completely to talk about like
Well, yeah, and Raucus wouldn't prattle. Raucus isn't a prattler. He's a sentence or two, gets it very to the
Sure.
point, and then moves
Yeah.
forward.
While we're still like Raucous is opening up, Ditton's gonna ask him a question. Today actually, Osgood was this close to getting his own facial scar. I've got one. Looks like Eldek has one. Did you get your facial scar from the giants, Raucous?
No. I was actually apprenticing to one of the holy people in our village, and that training is brutal, as it should be. And this is a result of that training.
So everyone who has the training gets a scar?
Yes, but maybe from different sources. Mine was from fire. Other people get stabbed, some people get acid burns. It just depends on the sadistic shaman that you're working with.
Mm.
It's
But it builds character, makes you stronger.
I agree. I also agree that scars can be very formative. I got my facial scar from defending my faith. Actually, it wasn't until then that Savannah called out for me. I probably could heal it, but there's looking in a mirror and seeing that scar just reminds me of my faith. How about you, Aldak?
Um, I Aldec is very hesitant to talk about the scar at this point because to him, you're all still relative strangers to him. But let's just say, hey, this brand on my face has had a lot of history behind it. There's a lot of history behind it,
In
and
Dwarven, I say, I bet.
and I'm. Was that Rakis? Was that Rakis who said that?
No, it was Oscar.
Osgik. Sorry. And Aldig just kind of looks at Osge. Like, if you can speak Dwarven, like, with you speaking Dwarven, you could probably read the rune on his face that says he's disgraced.
Yeah, I can read it.
Yeah, so. Yeah, so. Point being that this rune is not a happy one. Maybe at a later day I'll tell you all, but for now, let's just say, hey, that I'm not happy about having this mark on my face.
You don't have enough affinity with this character.
Yeah, well,
I'm just making a joke.
Yeah, let's just say it will take more. It'll take more than a bit of camaraderie to get Aldeck to open up. Probably, maybe like a life-threatening situation or two.
So, I could like diplomacy or try to like bluff to you or whatever, but like I feel like that's just gonna dig me a hole at this point, and I would probably try to move the conversation on. So I'll ask Aldern. You've been on hunts before. Any fishing scars we don't know about?
Yeah.
He like chuckles maybe a little bit too loudly, and then he actually says, "I've actually been very fortunate. The worst thing that's ever happened to me was that tuna I told you about earlier left a bit of a wound on the underarm." And then he like pulls down his like long sleeve shirt, and you can see there's a bunch of like scratching at like the midsection of his forearm on the underneath. He's like, I was holding the fishing rod, pulling back against the deck, and the force of the tuna, well, left me with this. And it really is like just, it looks like that makes sense. Like there's scratching underneath his arm from being, all that force against the deck breaking across it basically.
Ouch. smart not to expose your head to the tuna.
Okay.
Otherwise, you'd be able to join our club.
I do not think it would be fitting of a nobleman to have a scar from a hunting expedition like that. At least not something as simple as a large fish. I would like a much grander story if I ever did come across something as momentous as that.
Well, in a month or so, when you're looking for a party to slay dragons, leave our names out of it.
I'll keep you in mind if there's any dragon slaying. Can you guys make it back to town eventually, continuing your little chit chat? I would like to take a break here before you guys get there. A little 10-minute break. If everyone's cool with that.
Oh, that's perfect.
I gotta use the restroom anyway.
Okay. Then we will call it like 38 after.
Okay.
All right.
We got anyone back yet?
Yeah, I'm back.
Can you guys hear my fan? I haven't had it on full blast yet while I'm doing this.
A little bit. Like I had to actually like pay attention over my music to hear it though, so I wouldn't really worry about it.
Oh, okay.
You got music playing the whole time? It's like creepy shit or like actual
Just up,
music? Or
just up. So it's like light background music
Okay.
basically.
ambience? Yeah, I had my window open. I had a little lawnmower ambiance, and I shut that window.
Did you say llama?
Yeah, I live next. No, lawn mower. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
that's what I thought you said.
I'm like, I definitely heard llama. I'm like, do you live with animals?
Just peeking in his
not.
window.
Yeah, right. What's up? Gotta shut those windows. You get spit on.
Is it llamas that do that?
I don't know.
I always confuse them.
Llamas and alpacas do it, I believe.
Oh, they both do. Okay. I'm glad I've never had either.
You've never eaten llama?
Only in RimWorld.
Of course. Yeah, so I think I wasn't the only one having an issue. I kept trying to remember specific people's names because you have the weird jumble. But I was looking at Discord, like it lighting up for who was talking to address people, but it says our names, not our in-game names. I don't know. I don't know if we should put our fake names in there. Would that be? I mean, because we have our time zones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we'll just play enough. We'll learn it.
It's kind of just an overtime thing. Or if you want, we could make like I can just make a public notes real quick if you want to write down your character name and like your real name so then everyone can see it as opposed to just me.
I mean, it's no big deal. It's just I always have to remember that David equals Osgek. So looking at who's talking, that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
the few first sessions, have that.
Sure.
Once we start to recognize people's voices more, we'll associate it with the characters.
Heck yeah. It's too bad. Did Sean say anything? Is
No,
he coming?
I'm gonna be honest though, I'm kind of not surprised just based on his behavior so far. So if you have someone new in the game next week, don't be shocked.
Alright.
Sweet.
Also, if you guys have any recommendations, I'm also willing to accept those.
I don't know anybody else that really plays right now other than the group that I play Pathfinder 2e with. And the guy that would play is busy with work. He's got pretty much time for one session a week, if that.
Mhm.
I'm sure we'll find someone. I always get multiple hits. It's just trying to figure out if someone is worth inviting to the game.
Yeah, that's always the problem. It's fun, especially with the online setting. You can't like judge them by like. Usually, I find like their body expression helps too when
Well, yeah, it's
judging a person.
pretty big. That's why I like doing with some people. If they have it, I'll do like a camera like interview the first time we talk in person. Well, in person, when we use voice chat. Who do we have right now? I know we got David and Ben. Do we have John and Kiefer?
Ruckus
Yeah,
is here.
Okay,
I'm back.
nice. Okay, so I think like we'll resume at basically like you guys heading to like into the Rusty Dragon unless there was stuff you wanted to do before there.
Return the horses.
Return.
Yeah,
I put the spear back on the horse, by the way, so put it back on the party sheet.
yeah. If there's a way for me to give back the
Yeah, just drag the item into the
party sheet.
party sheet. So if you guys do want to keep them, they were basically given to you.
Well, keep mine.
If I keep
I didn't
mine,
have a melee, so
if I keep mine, I'm just gonna sell it. And
Okay, cool.
Too much weight, and I don't really want to run around with the spear attached to my back. So
yeah,
my crossbow is enough.
and if I absolutely need to do piercing damage. I got a dagger for that.
The iconic dagger. Dagger and club, and then you're good to go.
It's the second most important thing every adventurer should have next to rope.
I mean, I would think water and food were up on that
Especially
list,
water.
but
Water is important.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, food and water, but come on, there's more. I can think of so many situations where just having 50 feet of rope would be so helpful.
Well,
that's
it's too
fair.
much for my character to carry, since the weight for that doesn't get modified.
Right?
You want to get a halfling rope?
It does, the weight does not change for even for halflings, because it's just rope. Like
Yeah.
rope doesn't change. It's like even buying the silk rope, which I didn't really want to spend the 5 or 10 gold. I don't remember which on. It's still like 5 pounds, which puts me very close to medium encumbrance.
Speaking of halfling-sized things, I didn't want to ask earlier, but like, are you riding a horse, a pony, a dog?
He said horse, so I'm assuming I'm just like on the horse, just like holding onto the pommel for dear life, because
Yeah,
I can't
right.
reach the
The stirrups.
stirrups.
And your ride check reflected it. Got it. Yeah, we didn't have to make one on the way back. I'm happy about that. We'll return the horse and let's go back into the tavern.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just supposed to be a representation of like you're traveling for the entirety of the journey.
Probably go to the room, clean up a bit. I was in a bog or whatever.
Yeah, when you guys come in, like you actually like the inn itself is a lot more lively today. There's actually a bit of a ruckus, whether or not you're into that or not.
It's like, hey.
And when you come in, they're actually like a lot of the people in the inn like turn around and cheer, and you actually hear like multiple of them yell out like, "It's the heroes of Sandpoint!" And then a bunch of people start raising their drinks up, even if they're not looking over.
All right.
I wave at the people.
Yeah. Yeah, and Aldeg, not used to kind of this admiration, also kind of just waves awkwardly.
I'm gonna try to slip behind people to not like as you guys are waving, I'll be like standing in the distance behind you, trying not to be noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Tried so hard.
Crap.
Okay, I think Aldern Foxglove is gonna go over to Bethana and tell her like we got a boar outside. I'd love it if Amiko could cook it up and serve it for the entirety of the tavern. I'll pay for it. It was slain by the heroes of Sandpoint. He gestures towards all of you.
Please, we didn't. I mean, I can't take any credit for it, but Osgog here, her kind of slaps Osgog on the back. Is the one, and that really did kill the war.
Agreed. 3 cheers for Osgog.
Hip hip hooray!
Osgog.
Osgog.
Before it gets too much farther, Osgick, not Osgog.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, Osgick.
Yeah. Osgig.
Osgick.
Until we get drunk, then it goes back to Osgog.
100%.
Okay. I think a few moments later, Miko comes out front, and she yells out for everyone to hear. Free boar meal coming up within the hour. Sponsored by Mr. Foxglove and the Heroes of Sandpoint. And then people cheer again for like the 3rd time.
And after all that running around, I could use a big leg of boar meat.
I'm telling you, our streak of never paying for food is never ending.
Yeah,
Part
all
of
we
your
gotta do
week-long
is just
stay
keep-
is like food as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you actually see like a party of 4 get out of their booth and offer it to you guys. You can all sit together.
We're all gross.
That's mighty kind of you.
Thank him.
Then throughout your time spent in the tavern, you actually have like legitimately have like a couple dozen people as they're circulating through the tavern, or just like when they're done with their meals, come up to you and like thank you and maybe like ask a few questions, that kind of stuff.
All right.
We'll just respond in kind to people.
Yeah, Aldec will just do the very traditional, very, very, very sanitized meet and greet. He'd saying hello to anyone who hellos him.
Okay. And like probably about like hour and a half later is when the first few meals start being rolled out of the boar. She doesn't have the place to cook it all at once, so she can only do so many at a time, but like your table gets served first and it kind of just spreads out from there. Have any of you guys ever had boar in real life?
No, but I hear it's quite gamey.
At least in California it is.
Especially in fantasy grounds.
Yes.
Gaming.
Hey, but dumb Tish.
But I think it's still
So
very
sitting
good.
around the table, I'd like to bring up, if we're all just there, is there some sort of like military or guard in this town? They seem pretty happy for a few heroes, but
I'm guessing there isn't much of one if there is one.
Well, you guys did
I mean,
see multiple
we did see that one
guards.
guard that everybody seemed to respect because they cut it down pretty damn quick.
wasn't
Or
there
they
a sheriff?
dislike them. Yeah.
Sheriff Hemlock.
Like,
Maybe we can.
And you guys have seen guards in town, including in the square that you were fighting in. There are a few of them besides Sheriff Hemlock. You guys want to do knowledge local checks? I could actually probably give you some information for those of you that have been here for, more than just showing up at the beginning of the Swallowtail Festival.
All right.
I believe that's you, Kiefer.
Well, so yeah, I've probably been in and out of the town. I probably haven't spent prolonged periods here.
Yeah.
Would that count? I don't.
Yeah, that's fine.
Roll.
But everyone can give me a knowledge local. It's fine. Unless you don't know anything about Varisia
Hey, I
and
got
you
above a
showed
10.
up at the beginning of the session yesterday.
my character just knows around like Magmar and Thessalonian interests.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna make you roll. If you have it untrained, don't roll it.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I was going to say that, yeah, I have it untrained.
Yeah, if you're from Magmar, I think you'd know there's like a garrison here, but that's it.
Okay.
And like Rakus, I think you have the same idea. They have a garrison around here that stations guards, but you don't know how many.
Gotcha.
We've just been congratulated by so many people in our great efforts to take defense of the town. I just don't want to step on the toes of the local guards.
I'd rather not get on the guard's bad side either.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure the guards were doing what they needed to do in other parts of the town.
And like I said, there were a few fighting in the square as well. Like there was fights going on all around you. It wasn't just you guys.
Then we should invite those heroes to the feast.
This is
So yeah, we could probably grab the off duty ones. Get up, wander over to the nearest patron, ask where the guard station is.
Right, yeah, they give you directions. It's like towards the northwest of town, kind of by the old lighthouse.
Yell back at the group. I'll be right back.
Mhm.
Go
All
over
right.
to the garrison.
Now that he's gone.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you head up over to the garrison, and you're greeted by pretty much everyone that walks by you with kind of the same thing going on in the tavern. Just people thanking you and maybe asking you a few questions if you're willing to accommodate.
I'll let them know I'm in a little bit of a hurry at the moment, but some other point for the questions. But thank or say you're welcome. The normal, greets and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, you get up to the garrison, and it has like a proper like wall around it with a couple few towers towards the front of it, and on the scaffolding above the gate there are 2 guards, kind of looking down at you as you approach.
I wave at them. Hey, is it okay to come in and talk to you guys?
The younger fellow looks down at you and he's like, "I heard you're one of them heroes of Sandpoint. What are you looking to do around here?"
Invite you guys to a feast that we're having. We killed a boar and we got a dinner going on at the Rusty Dragon.
Well, as you can see, we're a little busy here.
Do you want to let the off-duty people know? Maybe they can join in the feast if they can. Or I can let them know if I'm allowed in.
You see the younger fellow, he kind of like leans back to look up at the sun. He's like, they probably had lunch looking at the last shift, and he kind of leans back once again. Maybe an hour or 2 ago. I wouldn't worry about it.
All right. Well, if you're sure.
As sure gets.
All right, then. Have a good day. I'm going to go back to the feast. And I turn around and walk off.
Just as we planned. So do you make it back to the tavern?
Yeah, I assume so.
Yeah. And like, if it wasn't clear, that like the guard was having a good time.
Okay. I couldn't really tell with the.
It's kind of hard when like you can't see like my facial expression and my movements, but
yeah,
I'm trying to add a little bit of embellishment.
And when Osgik comes back to the Rusting Tavern, you just see Aldex in the middle of the room chugging 2 beers while everyone in the crowd is going, drink, 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 drink. Think. Yeah, just Aldex is trying to liven up the place a little bit.
Oh yeah, I think while it's maybe not like hella crazy, it's not like a dwarven party, right? But but now that like everyone's kind of in the mood and you guys are here and there's a feast going on, I think it's starting to get like more of the inn scene that you'd see in like a movie or your stereotypical inn, right?
Okay.
Is there music, like a band or anything like that?
No, not at all.
So Osgood gets back. Does he tell us?
I let him know the guards already ate from what the main dude said, but I let them know, so they didn't seem too angry to even see me. They recognize me as one of the heroes of Sandpoint, and I do quotation marks on the heroes of Sandpoint part.
Well, as long as it didn't sound like they were being a dick, maybe we could bring them some leftovers.
I didn't laugh with how many people were here.
I don't know. If we get in the habit of feeding all of Sandpoint, we're probably gonna regret it.
Yeah, truth be told, I don't want to be responsible for feeding the entire town.
But a valiant effort.
On the regular, anyway.
Every once in a while is nice, but I agree, not all the time.
Okay, like 15 minutes later, now that some time's passed, and all the meals have come out, you start hearing a few people up at the bar start making a little bit of a ruckus, and you start hearing Amiko's name being cheered for.
Love a good chant. Let's do this.
Yeah, she like comes, like stops in the door frame once it starts. She turns around, And then she like puts her hands up. She's like, "Oh, okay, one. We're only gonna do one, okay?" She has this big dumb smile on her face, and she gets up on top of the counter for the bar, and she begins to sing in a very beautiful language that none of you understand. That after a few moments of like just this crowd like silently enjoying it, she switches over to the common tongue, and it seems like she is singing some kind of ballad that represents like a community of people overcoming a great challenge in the form of a large beast.
Hmm. Oh,
She actually has a pretty good voice.
yeah.
After
I'm
that, she kind of just does that slight bow once again and then gets off the stage, and everyone resumes like the intermediate chaos that is the scene within this bar right now.
I know 6 languages. I still couldn't tell what she was speaking.
6 languages.
I mean, you could
Like-
try and do a linguistics check. It would just be very difficult.
No, my character would probably go and ask her instead of doing the check. Yeah, I know 6 languages: Common, Dwarven, Elven, Gnome, Halfling, and Thessalonian.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. Yeah, let's go ask her which language that was.
what they
Alright.
said.
I'll get up, wander over to where Miko is, I guess.
Yeah, she's back in the kitchen once again, so like you might just want to ask Bethana to like go back there and grab her unless you just feel like walking in.
I mean,
Well,
at this point, we kind of own the place, right?
I don't want to walk into the kitchen. Like, that's a good way to get like your hand chopped off if the cook is angry.
You just saw her; she was happy. But all right, so we wait for Amiko. Was it Amiko?
Yeah, Miko.
Miko, yeah.
Yeah, I think like 15 minutes later you'll see her come out once again. Now that like a decent amount of the work back there has been done. You can go approach her as she's like serving people at the bar.
Yep, I'll do that. That was a beautiful song. What language are you speaking? I know a lot of languages, and I didn't recognize it.
That's not uncommon. My ancestors hail from the Far East.
Ah, okay. So you're speaking their language? That's interesting.
It is quite fascinating if you're into that thing. I think it's mostly only useful for performances such as that, but there's a deep, rich history behind it.
Is it based off a local story?
The
As in
ballad I was
local-
reciting?
Yeah, as in local, as in where you hail from.
Actually taught to me by my mother when I was a child.
Mm.
Oh, did you memorize the words, or do you speak the language?
No, the entirety of the language I understand.
And what is that language?
I don't actually know what they listed as. She's her ancestry is Xionzi, and I
Oh,
think
okay.
that might be the name of the language as well. They don't note it here. They just say she speaks her native tongue and then reference that as her ancestry. So I assume it's Xionji.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
Okay.
how there's Varisian here.
Whatever it is, it's beautiful. I
Yeah.
feel bad you've given us free board, you've cooked for us, now you've sung for us. Please allow us to tip you. Can I give her like, is it like a tip jar for like the bartenders or something?
It would be dishonorable for me to ask for a tip from you, but if you would like to help Bethana, most of her funds do come from tips.
Then yes, I would like to give Bethana a gold.
I'll gold too.
Yeah. Deck will throw in a gold coin as well.
And we'll let everyone we know on our journeys know about the Rusty Dragon.
Yeah. Yes. Again, we appreciate you who letting us stay here and giving us free meals like this.
I'm willing to help any honorable warriors such as yourselves. The defensive Sandpoint is of the utmost importance. You've protected my home, now I should shelter you.
Well, if you need anyone needs help, or if you know anything about the Sandpoint Devil, let me know.
I'm sure there's a few lads and lasses that have told you tales around here of the Sandpoint Devil. I couldn't provide much more.
Yeah, it seems to be a running trend, and just enough people are giving me details, but don't know exactly where it's at.
I'd say there's no better place than a free feast to, loosen the lips, get a little more information out of these people. Talk about things they wouldn't normally tell a stranger from a distant land.
You got a point there.
Shall we ask around?
Sure, and I guess Aldeck will try to use friendly diplomacy to ask around bar patrons to see if he can get anything more useful about the devil, like where it was at or where it was last seen.
I would like to attempt to aid him.
Do you want me to drop diplomacy into the tower?
What should I roll the aid to see if I give you a bonus first?
Yeah, the age should always be first. And what are you... Give me a little bit more context for what you're doing here.
We're walking around the party, basically, and just, in casual conversation, trying to bring up the subject of the Sandpoint Devil, seeing if there's any, legitimate stories, hoping that the free feast and booze and stuff like that will,
Okay. Yeah. Give me your aid another first. And how are you helping him in this situation? It should be different from what he's actually doing.
Yeah.
Other than being a hype man, I'm not sure what you mean. I could do it as well, and we could do it quicker.
We could probably ask more people in the bar quickly if we divide and conquer, so to speak.
Or the correct questions. I could confirm that it's not a religious thing.
Yeah. I can dig it. Give me your aid another.
All that effort I get a -2 to this, guys, so it's not going to be good. It's
a
diplomacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's diplomacy.
It was not in the tower.
Yeah.
Just give me a reroll.
Right.
It needs to be in the tower for this, yes?
Yeah.
It's secret?
Yeah. Just keep them all secrets. Keep all the social skills will be secrets.
Alrighty.
I think the exception to that might be no, I think the intimidates in combat still should be.
I just figured since it's an aid, he needs to know if he's adding a modifier or not, so.
Yeah. Okay, so John, you're gonna re-roll with the +2.
Alright.
God, that is a juicy modifier you have right there, especially with that +2.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think as you're going around, you end up getting, the pretty standard information about, the local legend that you're trying to figure some information about. But I think there is one of the dock workers in town that is, has seen the Sandpoint Devil.
So.
And he'll tell you that he saw this abomination with these weird moving spikes coming off of it. He saw it attack his friend down on the dock when they were doing a double shift because a trading vessel had shown up very late in the day. basically as they were finishing their shift, they were eating down on the dock, and his friend got dragged down into the depths down below by this spike-covered creature that was moving around in like a weird flowy way.
Mm. Mm. So we have an underwater creature here that specializes in pulling people from the shore. Aldeck is not exactly happy about that, considering he already sinks like a tin can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel that. Wearing almost equally heavy armor, I sigh.
All right.
But
I don't
I
suppose-
think that like
Yeah.
you don't even need to sense motive this. This guy's tale of the Sandpoint Devil doesn't line up with everyone else's.
Okay,
Oh.
sweet.
All
Worth a
right.
shot.
So we got something. So we got something entirely different, maybe.
I'm gonna signal to Amiko to cut that guy off. Like,
Yeah, she just like nods at you.
sweet.
Yeah, no, the primary concept for what the Sandpoint Devil is this disgusting looking creature of some variety that travels along the western coast of Varisia around the town, and that Lamashtu like cursed a woman for it to be created. And it's normally depicted as some kind of creature meant to travel great distances, or some kind of devil-like creature, or a combination of both. But it's definitely supposed to be some kind of abomination. And there's never there's no mention of it being like some kind of water-based creature. So he's either talking about something else, super drunk, or just bullshitting you, or a combination of all three.
Aldeck and I will discuss that we probably think that there is a threat, but that's not what we're looking for.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't sound like the Sandpoint Devil. At least doesn't sound like what most people commonly believe it is. But it probably wouldn't hurt to check it out.
You know, earlier when you first brought up that Sandpoint Devil, didn't Raucus give you a tip? Maybe we should talk with him again.
Raucus. Is that the sheriff?
It's the
Our
half-orc?
member.
Yeah, he said something along the lines of like talk to the guards about it, I think.
Ah, all right.
I may be wrong. Let's talk to him.
Right.
We're in the
Hey,
same room.
Raucus
So
is one of your party members.
Hey, Raucus. Chime in is what I'm trying to say.
All right.
Well, I wasn't buying you at the time, I don't think, so that's why I didn't
Okay.
just jump in. But yeah, if you're looking in town, the sheriff or head guard would probably be your best source of information. However, it does seem like this is often a mythical scapegoat.
All right. I suppose that's something I can handle in the morning. I don't think. I mean, just for the time of day. Is it like evening, night, midday?
I'd say it's probably like if you guys are reveling in the party itself, I'd say it's probably like 4 or 5 o'clock at night.
Hmm.
It's like you tracked the boar down at about noon, right?
Right.
And then it's been at least 3 hours since then. Like if you guys have had no dilly dallying, so it's at the very least 3 p.m. if you haven't been like embracing the party. But it sounds like you have, so I'm just adding like an hour or two on.
Yeah.
It's-
I guess once we're all done partying, we could all go to the sheriff, and then all deck can ask questions about the Sandpoint Devil to them.
We should definitely find Osgik. I think he's got a rapport with those guys.
Yeah. Oscar can be my in. All right.
Wait, we
So-
should probably ask, is anybody wanted for anything?
No.
All right, just doing my
Not
due diligence.
here.
All right. Is anyone else got something they'd like to do?
Unless they expect the party to go all night, then feel like we should, if we can, transition to the guards again.
All right.
Yeah,
It
you
was
guys,
the barracks you went to, or where did you go the first time, Oskik?
The garrison.
There you go.
when you guys get to the garrison, I mean, most of you wouldn't notice this, but there are 2 new guards up there.
Go with them.
All right. So I guess Alzek will lead the conversation. Excuse me, sirs. I'm Alzek Brosshorn, Paladin of Torre Egg, as you can tell by my garb here. I was wondering, is the head of the guards anywhere nearby? Hey, or perhaps the sheriff? I have some questions about a Sandpoint devil.
A grizzled older man answers. He says, "Oh, you're looking for the sheriff. He's actually off duty right now. But if you have any pressing matters, we could go talk to him, see if he'd be willing to reach out to you tonight."
Well,
Say we wait for tomorrow. It's not
Yeah.
pressing, is it?
I don't want to be rude, so perhaps this is something that can wait till the morning.
Wait, did we bring leftovers for the guards? Or did we just talk about it?
No one
I would
said
just
they
talk
did.
about it.
Okay. Then
I would remind them while we're here that there's probably still some boar left over at the Rusty Dragon. In case the other guard didn't let the others know.
sweet.
A
Then,
lot of the
should we go
few
back
of
to
the
our free
boys
home?
know about that.
All right.
You hear him like let out a loud, dry cough.
Mm,
Thank him. Turn around, I guess.
Yeah. Oh well, I appreciate your time then, sirs.
Have a wonderful night. And
You
he
too.
waves as you
You
take
as
off.
well.
You're right, Oskik. Those are some nice guards. Sweet. So, shall we advance? You want to go back to the Rusty Dragon together, or shall we shop? What do you want to do?
I could use some parchment to write some notes on. I forgot to pick some up in Magnar before I left.
Do we have anything to sell? Oh, we have that thing to drink, to identify.
Well,
we
yeah,
do need
we
to
have-
identify that.
We'd want to take that probably to the cathedral and let Father. Oh my God.
Xantus?
Xantu.
Xantus.
Xantu. All right.
Xantus.
And let Father Xantus take a gander at it.
I mean,
There's-
while we're out.
There's like an academy or something in this town. I didn't really. Well, let's see.
Yeah, there was.
We would have passed it. They're probably closed tonight, but we can also check there. I can see if they'll let me reference their books and go against that for the identifying.
I don't have knowledge local, but is it known what's the public library situation like in Sandpoint? Can we just go get books at any hour?
There isn't a public library.
Damn it. No Carnegie in this universe? Okay. So if we know that, then
The only place that's open 24/7 is the cathedral, and it's not even the entirety of the cathedral.
I'm sorry, how late is it?
It's like 5.
Okay, not too bad.
They might be off duty at the church, but we can find out tonight, I guess. I'd like to visit to see what all gods are there. All I remember was Desna.
I think we at least earned a tour, right?
We can see about getting a look around for it, if the Father will let us.
I mean, it's brand new.
All right, guess we'll wander over to the church. If nobody has any objections, of course.
Nope.
Sounds like we're
Parchment
good.
for sale here too.
Okay, you guys approach the church, and when you walk in, there are multiple acolytes in this main room, doing various activities. And one of them, probably the closest to you, will come up and approach you and be like, "Welcome to the Sandpoint Cathedral. Is there anything we can help you with?"
We're kind of curious about seeing if someone could help us identify a potion. Also, if you have any parchment and like an ink and quill for sale, if that's possible.
We might be able to sell some of our personal stores. I would have to go talk to our quartermaster. On the other hand, I could go find an acolyte who's has a better understanding of the various concoctions within this world if you are interested in compensating the church for this service.
I'll look at it on a group. Are you guys okay with paying to identify what this is?
Of course. I'm sure we'll get our heroes discount.
Go ahead.
All right. What?
Ask how much it is first.
Art.
That's a good point, Raucus. How much would it be?
This depends on the skill of the acolyte needed, and I would need to go talk to someone else. This is not my personal field of expertise.
Okay.
Let them know that it should only take a minute. I mean, we don't want them to make anything just to tell us what we've already had made.
Who has it, by the way?
I think I was
I think I
I
have
think
it. I don't
Sean
know.
might have it on his character.
pretty sure it's on
Oh.
Rocket. This is like
Nope.
mysterious.
Nope, I don't have it.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, did Kairos grab it? Can we get it off of Kairos?
Quickly get it off of Kairos'
Jacob?
dead body.
Well, there were two, and one we were able to identify, one we weren't. So, did he get the mystery one, or no? I think we told the dwarf you have the best resistance if we have to drink something. There's
Yeah,
bad
Kairos
effects.
is identified. He has the moderate.
Okay, so how about Aldec? Check your. Do you have a mysterious
Magical
thing?
potion. It's an Aldex. Yeah.
Sweet.
According
Yeah,
to
I got a
log.
magical potion. I assume.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be it. So
Uh,
yeah, you can hand it over.
Yeah, I pull this unidentified potion out of my bag and hand it to the priest.
Oh, do we want to just give it to him?
Mm,
Can we see? Do they have a holy symbol? Like what religion they are? Is it Desna?
It's
So in the opening room, there is a bunch of like drawing, sculptures, and symbology for a bunch of different gods.
I guess I'll ask him. I say, I've heard this church is dedicated to 6 different gods. Which do you worship? Trying to see
I-
if they're trustworthy with this potion.
Personally, I'm a follower of Aristel, though I do pay homage to most of the traditional Varisian gods.
Good enough for me. I mean,
Mhm.
he didn't say one of the big bads, so
all right.
I don't know, like
imagining a
Aristel is
town-
all about community too. I don't know if that helps you guys make your decision.
I'd say hand it over.
Yeah, imagine a Church of Robogug in this place.
exactly.
Its motive. He's absolutely lying to you.
Yeah,
You see
Man.
horns and a tail.
just got a
Yeah.
good architect.
This place is clearly corrupt. We got to burn it down.
This may take some time. Please feel free to browse around the cathedral.
Alright.
Okay.
All right.
Pay no attention to us. We're dumb. But guys, if someone burnt this down, they'd just build another one, and then goblins would attack again.
You're
I
right.
swear.
This one's
You're
made
right.
out of stone this time.
Ah, they learned from the pigs 3. I loved that fable.
All right. All right. So,
Can you
unless
perceive? You said look around.
Yeah, you said you can feel free to look around the church because it's going to
That's
take
all.
some time.
Yeah, unless Aldex sees something strange or as in something out of place or someone in distress, I guess Aldex is just going to wander around the church aimlessly. He looking at the what gods are actually worshipped here.
not unlike getting one of those like guided tours, I'm just gonna stick with Osgek and be like, what does this mean? I assume there's like a bunch of religious stuff in here that is Thessalonian. Am I wrong?
So there isn't like a bunch of Thessalonian artifacts. It's mostly Varisian stuff because
Oh,
ancient Thessalonia is from thousands of years ago, and pretty much no one worships those gods. It's very, very uncommon. Um,
I would explain to him that no, these aren't really anything Thessalonians. This is way too recent. It's hundreds, if not thousands, of years since Thessalonia has been active.
see, there isn't anything of like exceptional quality in here. Like it's all good and passable, but this is like a smaller cathedral, right? So there's not anything like extremely fancy when it comes to the dedications to the various gods. But I will tell you all of the gods that you'll be able to see as you go throughout the church.
Sweet.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there are all the traditional ones worshipped in Varisia. There's Abadar, Desna, Aristil, Khazra, Sarenrae, and Shelyn. Those are the big ones that would be easy for everyone to identify. And then there are 6 imperial lords that are also traditional, like Varisian worshipped gods, even though they're imperial lords, so they're technically not full gods, but you get the point. And there's places for worship for all of them in here. There's a nice big courtyard in the center too. There is a big chunk towards the northern end of the building that you don't have access to, and that seems to be like presumably where a lot of the acolytes do their private business and have their lodging.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Have we seen the father here? Or is there only one father?
So I mean, there are multiple like priests that would hold that title, but the head father is Father Xantis, so he's the one who is, when you go around town and you say, "I'm looking for the father," you'd be referring to Father Xantis. Yeah, I think you'll find him in here.
So we're just waiting for the potion to be identified?
Yeah, so basically he like went off for a while, and then I'd say like maybe like 15 minutes later, the acolyte comes to you with potion in hand, and he just walks up to whoever's close and he says, "It looks like one of our acolytes will be able to take care of this. It would only be..." And then he kind of looks at the ground for a second. He's like, 20 gold for us to identify this.
Highway robbery.
5 apiece. Are you guys good with that?
I mean, that's fair. Here, Aldec's got plenty of gold to spare.
Yeah, I pull out 5 gold.
Aldec pulls out his 5.
Same.
Doesn't sound like Rakkus is willing to part with 5 gold.
Get that 5 from
Yeah, I'd say it's fair. Sorry.
No, sorry. I'm trying to... Yeah, whatever. I'll give 5 gold. I think he's cheating us, but I'll give him 5 gold.
I mean, if you think he's cheating us, we can always sense motive.
Out of game, I think he's cheating us. In game, I'm trying to figure out if Rakkus would, and while he is a divine caster, he's a spontaneous caster, so he doesn't know much about that.
Caster level times spell level times 10. That's how much gold it's supposed to be.
I think it's totally on point for what are you? An interrogator?
Inquisitor?
Inquisitor, sorry, to ask a few questions. So if
And-
you want to pursue it.
Yeah.
Nope. I'll get the 5 gold.
Because like hypothetically, using default rules, it should actually be 200.
Jesus, that's more than a
How-
potion costs.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Just drink
Yeah,
the
it's-
thing, get it over with.
Might as well. We're better
Caster
off
level.
tasting it, figuring out what it is.
Yeah, caster level times spell level of the potion times 10.
I'm gonna remember this and go into business, just identifying stuff. That's expensive.
Yeah.
But we gladly pay it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's potion to cure light wounds. But
Man, I
like
knew
for
I
some
should've just drank
reason, I think this has something to do with we had people moving the potion around, and like somehow we ended up with a version that didn't have the name on it. So like I'm just gonna give you a new one because that doesn't have any of the. Well, I guess you know what it is, so I guess it doesn't matter that it doesn't have the description in there.
Mhm.
Well, it looks like we've got what we came for. Do we need to talk to the father before we leave, or?
The quartermaster also wished to ask how much parchment and ink you were looking to acquire.
5 sheets of parchment and just 1 vial of ink and a quill.
We can accommodate this as long as you're willing to pay the appropriate price.
Okay.
I didn't do the math off the top of my head because I didn't know how much you were looking for, but they are only going to charge you 25% of the regular price for what you're looking for, and they can accommodate all of your needs. That's less than what they have to offer.
Wow. So 25% of the price, that's 2 silver per parchment sheet.
Makes sense. They're charged. They're not taxed. Probably buy them both.
So let me look up ink and quill.
Fortunately, they have the supplies you're looking for, and they've recently gotten a big influx because, there was a giant festival.
Why is ink so expensive? I am so glad you're offering that for a quarter.
I don't know,
So-
because I don't actually know the process of making ink, so I can't think of like a reason for it.
You grind up specific things and you add water to it, so it
Yeah.
shouldn't be 8 gold.
Like rocks and like animal parts.
Yeah, it's like,
So it's 2 gold, 3 silver for the parchments, and a silver, so that would go to 2.5 copper. So I'll round it up to 3 copper. So 2 gold, 3 silver is 3 copper.
Nice.
And I hand that over and thank them.
On the acolyte, Mr. Welcome, and I will be back shortly. Your potion identified.
Thank you.
10 minutes later, he comes back with the potion and informs you that it's a potion of cure light wounds. One of the more common items. Fortunately, they
Okay.
didn't have to bother Father Xantus with this, or it would have costed more.
wow, what a jerk.
Right?
I mean, it's understandable. Like, the higher up you go, the more expensive they're going to be.
Okay, now we've got what we wanted.
Yeah.
Do we need to talk to Father Xantus before we leave?
I don't think so, other than to
Nah.
offer him a greeting in passing.
Nah, unless anyone can think of something else. I think it might just be time to relax at the inn.
I'd ask if we need arrows, but I think we've got plenty from those goblins. It's too bad they didn't carry parchment and ink. Wonder why.
Yeah, no, I'm good on arrows.
Yeah, this wouldn't be the place to go for arrows anyway.
I'm saying our next stop before we're done. If anybody
you mean?
needed any armor, arrows.
What do you mean the local church isn't like a Costco where you could buy everything?
Though, to be fair, if you guys are looking for something, Sandpoint has a pretty good chance of providing it. They have a pretty diverse range of shops and stores that you can go to.
I want to buy a dog. Is that possible?
That is possible. Depends on what kind of dog you want.
One to replace the one we lost, Aldrin's?
No, he I don't know
Too
if he's
fancy?
brought this up to you guys, but those are like he's kind of brought up, just not in detail. They're trained like hunting dogs. Like
Okay.
they're like, whatever this like area's version of bloodhounds is. Because you looking at that picture, that was not a bloodhound.
Okay. So yep, no more heroic things to do. Go back to the inn.
Okay. I don't know, like if you guys are looking out for this as you're walking through town, but you're definitely gonna walk by the local armory on your way to the inn.
Yeah, I noted that as I was looking at the map.
Actually, like right next to the church.
Aldic, you love a good forge. Do you want to stop by the armory?
He's, I mean, yes, I do love to craft, but I'm perfectly content with what I have right now. So if you guys need to stock up, I won't stop you.
I still got
Besides,
like 15 crossbow bolts, so I should be good for a while.
yeah. Aldex also afraid that he might try to show up the blacksmith there.
Okay, so that's I'm not like quite sure what that back and forth dialogue meant, whether or not we're going in or not.
No, I think we're going back to the tavern.
Okay. I was like,
But we'll get close enough to look towards it and make perception checks in case. Do you want us to go to this forge?
No. You guys just brought up
Oh, okay.
like arrows being bought was brought
No.
up, so I had brought up the like you guys are walking by the armory anyway.
No, I brought up that we don't need them, and then Kiefer confirmed because of the goblins providing them.
Yeah. Okay.
Sweet.
Then yeah, you guys go back to the inn. Is there anything you want to do at the inn tonight, or do we just want to move on to the next day?
Cool, moving on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. What do you guys want to do in the morning? You got any plans for the day?
In the morning, I'd like to prepare my spells, find something reflective.
I feel like there's not much left now that we've done the hunt to stay here for. So I'd probably have breakfast with the group, and unless something happens, mention that it might be time to move on.
Yeah, it probably.
Did you want to talk to the sheriff about the devil?
Yeah, unless Aldex probably gonna go talk to the sheriff after some breakfast.
Are we certain that your mission was to find the devil, or just to be not where they sent you from the mission?
And
Is there a devil to find?
primarily, it's my job is to find the devil, and kill it, or find conclusive proof that the devil does not exist.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think most of you might be surprised to see the sheriff actually walking into the Rusty Dragon.
Comments the group. Well, that's convenient.
Oh well, that's convenient. And good morning, Sheriff. Here, Aldeck Bronzehorn, and he shakes it, extends his hand to shake.
I saw all of you in the square the other day, and I've heard you've been socializing with Mr. Foxglove. If you wouldn't mind, I have a favor to ask of you, discreetly, he says as he looks around.
And Aldeck looks at the rest of the group. Seeing, are you guys cool with this?
It depends on the favor, of course.
Ears are open.
All right, we're listening.
Should we do it here, or?
Hemlock kind of like gestures towards the front door.
Okay.
All right.
Following up.
Okay,
Do you have a picture for this person?
when you all get outside, he's walking like as fast as he can without making it look like he's trying to speed walk.
Yeah.
So I have to like jog to keep up.
And kind of like walking north towards the theater. And he says, the father reported to me earlier this morning that there's been some kind of disturbance in the boneyard, and I don't have any guards I can pull away from the walls right now, so I was wondering if you would help me investigate it.
The boneyards. That's fun.
A lot of the locals call the graveyard the boneyard.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's an ancient term, little out of date if you ask me, but I understand it. Surprising for Varisians, but I understand it.
Well, if we're going to a graveyard, I say we go now while it's morning.
I concur. We don't want, if there happens for some unspeakable reason to be undead, we don't want to fight them at night.
Superstition aside, I agree. See, light makes things easier to look. Makes it easier to look for clues.
Acknowledging grunt from Ruckus.
Sorry to sidetrack, but is Image male human fighter sheriff the guy we're talking to?
Probably.
Yeah.
I'd like to
Presumably.
ask him his name.
I think you already know it, but he'll reintroduce himself. No, you definitely already know it.
Didn't he talk?
He was one of the people speaking the other day on the podium. He was the one that
Yeah.
was like talking about like safety concerns.
Yep, the image is right for me now.
This guy.
One of the chainmail quaff.
Will you be joining us to investigate this yard of bones?
Of course, I just wanted extra sets of eyes. And I'm not expecting any trouble in here. I'm thinking worst case scenario, the vandalism he's talking about is going to lead us to a goblin or two that's got itself stuck.
Okay.
Then let's find that goblin.
Yeah, let's go find and crush the little ankle biter.
Probably at his head, right?
I mean, you know it. Why would I hit anything else besides the head?
I'd like to high five you.
I mean,
Let's go.
you probably got to kneel down to do a proper high five.
As with most of the party.
Like high-fiving a kid, right?
All right, yeah.
Right. I will pantomime, oh, that hurts so much. Oh, good strength. Yeah. And then
I do not appreciate your sass.
I do.
All right.
so strong. But we pass the time till we get to the church or the boneyard. Isn't it next to the church?
Yeah, the boneyard is connected to the cathedral. Basically in its backyard. So the two main ways you would go in, the way you're going in via the cathedral, walking in the front of the cathedral and heading out to the back, or there's a walled off entrance to the north, kind of by the main gate. So you walk through the cathedral, and when you get to the back exit that you guys are heading towards, you see that Father Xantis is standing just a little bit past the main door there. As soon as you come towards him, he says, "Oh, thank you. I asked the sheriff if he would kindly bring all of you here. It seems like you've kept spirits a little bit higher down at the Rusty Dragon Inn, and you've proven yourself capable, so I figured you might, well, need a little bit of your help around here. We don't know exactly what's gone on, but it looks like someone's opened up one of the tombs that we have back here."
How distasteful.
Disturbing. Much like the sheriff, I believe there might be a goblin down there.
Can you lead us to the tomb?
Of course, please follow me.
All right.
As we're going, is the break-in a tomb, like an underground tomb, or is it a above ground? I'm sorry.
Well, it has an entrance at the top, and it descends shortly down a set of stairs.
Both.
Inside is the
Okay.
tomb. Not very deep, though.
Have you been in it, or has anyone been in it, or did you just discover the break-in part? A broken door, maybe? What did you see?
We saw the door, which was sealed, had been opened. It is slightly cracked. I did not ask any of my acolytes to go in. I immediately went to the guards and got the sheriff.
Understandable.
And are any of these doors magically sealed, or is it just a lock?
This is a very simple church. There has been no magic involved in the sealing of any of these tombs. When you look around, you see there's only a few of them. Most of it is just regular headstones. When you get in front of the tomb, the father doesn't come all the way up to the tomb. It's maybe like 40 feet away from you. That's the tomb over there. As you can kind of see, it is slightly ajar. I would not go any farther. I'd prefer to remain away from that. I'm not as inclined for combat as the rest of you.
Right. All right. And Aldeck gets his warhammer or his shield ready and just kind of goes in expecting trouble. So he pushes the door to the tomb open with his shield, presuming it's not too difficult, and leads the way in.
It's gonna require a bit of effort because it's a big stone door.
All right.
But
So-
I will say that as you start walking forward, the sheriff kind of looks over at the father and he says, "Father, I believe we should go wait at both the entrances and make sure none of the acolytes or any of the citizens stumble back here while these men are taking care of the tomb. If that's okay with all of you."
I'll look at the group and nod.
Yeah, I nod as well.
Okay.
Rockus is a little off put by, I guess, I don't want to say they're cowardice, but they're at least being shaken. And he feels that something may be off.
Okay. I will say that is not the vibe they're giving off.
Oh, that's kind of how it sounded. But okay, if that's not the vibe they're giving off, then never mind.
No, it's legitimate concern on the sheriff's part for
Okay.
people
Sounds good.
stumbling back here.
So we're going in thinking it's probably nothing, but they're having the Sandpoint people investigate it because the guards are busy, right?
Yeah, basically guards are busy. They don't have enough people on duty right now to come and check it out since they are just straight up short staffed because of the goblin attack.
All right, I think, is it a group strength check then, or was Aldeck doing it?
Yeah. Hey, I'll try it first by myself, and I'll assist anyone if this doesn't work.
I'm not going to ask you to roll a strength check. I just wanted to note that it's something you have to put quite a bit of effort in.
All right.
You can't just shrug it open with your shield.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a open strength check, or do I have to throw in the tower?
No, you don't. I'm not even asking for a check, man.
Oh.
I don't think that's necessary. I think we're good.
So when the door opens, do we see like a hallway?
Actually have a map I'm going to share with you guys real quick.
I suppose now's a good time to think about marching order. I'll say, Eldek, you'll be in front of me. I'll be right behind you.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of people that are a little squishier or ranged.
And they're small and fragile. Got it.
And unfortunately, with the the Pathfinder setup they have for the lighting, I have to like mess around with it a teeny bit. It doesn't just automatically update like 5th edition. It is dark down here though. I will say there's some light leading down the stairway, so I'll give you guys that. But past that, it is just pitch black. So
Would
if
you
you
like
want
me
to
to
be able
cast
to
lights
see
on your
down
shield
here,
there, Aldic?
It'd probably be best for the group. Yeah. Go ahead. And he presents his shield.
Alright, I'll cast light on Aldec's shield.
I suppose asking if we're taking the stealth approach is out of the question now.
Well, we need to be able to see, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Suppose you're right.
I mean,
Lead the way.
you probably need to see. I got dark vision. Her.
Sure, same.
Yeah. So.
Lead the way, Sir Albec, or should we call you Cap?
All deck is fine. And I don't like titles too much. So yeah, Aldec will lead the group into the tomb as the GM gets ready to set up the map.
Right?
well, it's easy to set up. It'll be quicker once I remember who has dark vision. So I had to check that real quick, but it's much easier to set up once I know who has the light on them.
Right.
Damn my human eyes.
Yeah, right. So there's 2 of you with dark vision and 1 of you with a light spell on them right now. So I have that should all be set up appropriately. Can everyone see to some extent on the map?
Yep.
Let's see. Fantasy Grounds. All right.
You should be able to.
I see the map there. I just can't tell if I see anything yet.
It should just be focused on your vision. Like, can you see that there's a hallway that opens up?
There we go. It's just.
I think it's taking a while to load.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That's a misunderstanding on my part.
I see a mini outleted hallway. What are those, alcoves?
Yeah. So I will say this is the one map that I know of in book 1 that is not true to like what it's supposed to represent. So like the last map you had, there is an actual map for. There's like 3 or 4 of them in the first book of Rise of the Runelords where there's a bunch of events you do that don't have proper maps. So they've just added them to other maps or created these Smitework ones that don't properly represent it. So like presumably the place where you guys fought the boar was actually larger than it shows. And like this is not as big as it is. Realistically, like it's probably too wide, but we're gonna use the map the way it is. And like when you guys get in there, it's nowhere as big as it actually is.
Okay. I don't expect any combat, so
Yeah.
sounds good.
Well, so there might be goblins on here, so might actually expect combat.
No, probably not.
Yeah, but like a goblin, like come on. Like best case scenario, or maybe worse, depending on how you look at it, you guys are pest control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still a scary tomb, so.
Yeah. So. All right.
You go first.
Yeah, Aldec will lead the party in going like every 10 feet, and I think I can cast Detect Evil indefinitely as a paladin.
Yeah, when you guys are moving on these maps, where it's not just combat immediately, like do it slowly. So if there is something and I'm like, hey, you guys need to stop here, then you're not just I'm suddenly 40 feet ahead of where I was.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
I'm gonna wait for Aldec to move and then move his footsteps like right behind him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like every.
Probably a good idea since he's the only one carrying light.
Yeah, I'm gonna move.
Oh,
15.
here. There you go, bud. You can do it yourself now.
There we go.
They've also changed that. It defaults to locked now for character tokens, which is annoying.
Yeah, every time you have to do it, release it.
It's
Yeah, so-
I don't know if it's hard for those of you with dark vision to tell on this map because the Kellers on this map kind of suck if you ask me, but you should only be able to see in Keller within like the realm of the light that Aldic has.
Oh, I have to click on my character for that to work. I wasn't clicked on my character.
All right. Didn't think
Oh,
that
so you
was
can't
cool.
see without being clicked on your character?
No, I saw a little bit farther.
Because you have dark vision, I think.
Does Halfling have dark vision?
No, you're right. What are you
I have low
seeing?
light.
What are you seeing then?
do.
Because it does look like you can see like 20 feet farther.
Yeah, if I don't click on my character, I can see farther. Like it's
Well, because
weird.
you have party vision, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with the
All right, I'll just stay clicked on my character.
yeah, so Aldec's just gonna keep moving up in 15 feet increments, looking around.
Okay. It,
5, 10.
I think once you
15.
get right there, I'll move you right here is when you would see it. You see like two skeletons just roaming around in the room that turn towards you.
All right. Hey, time to smite some evil.
So this would be the appropriate time for initiative.
All right. All right. Initiative.
Oof.
Perception.
Yeah, who thought they were smiting evil this session, huh?
What a very average roll.
Also, like, as a note for our religious characters specifically, but potentially everyone in general, like, assuming there's undead just because there is, like, a graveyard is kind of dumb. Like, it would be different if this was, like, a graveyard people didn't go to, or if this was, like, a graveyard propped up in, like, some inherently evil place, but, like, this is a place where mostly good and neutral gods are worshipped, so you're not gonna have, like, cursed grounds.
Yeah, it's not. It's not like a church of God. What's that one god that's all about raising the undead?
I don't know.
It's like, it's her name's escaping me. It's killing me right now. Oh well, whatever.
Is it the lady with like a skeleton body? Or what? I don't know. That's a knowledge religion check for later, I guess.
Yeah.
So here is where I'll ask you guys a question and talk to you guys about something because we haven't had it come up yet. So with my games, I will generally ask for like a pause here. I know it's a little shorter this session, but this combat is most likely going to take some time. So I will default to pausing right here because in the future I know we'll have sessions that'll go over time. Like I normally have a fluctuation between, I try and keep it like within the 15-minute in either direction mark. Does that work for all of you guys? Because like
Yeah,
I think
that's
this
fine.
will boil
Yeah.
over more than that.
Yeah, I got no issue.
Okay. And that's, I mean, I know I've talked to all of you guys about this as individuals before, and a few of you already knew this, but I still like bringing it up. So I think this will be a good place to end the session for now. Comments, questions, concerns?
No, I'm getting excited because it seems like, hey, things are gonna pick up soon.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
This is like the next hook. Hopefully.
I guess in the last like 10 minutes or so, I have been a little bit concerned. Like the new enemies that we're facing, I don't know how we're gonna eat their flesh in order to feed the tavern.
Oh, that's true. They probably don't
Bone
have
broth,
that much
bone broth.
flesh.
Yeah,
Okay, there we
bone
go.
broth soup, and we can crack the bones open and take what marrow's left.
That's true. That's see, you know what kind of life these two gentlemen had growing up. They had that fucking marrow soup life.
Right. Well, I look forward to that in the future.
Yeah.
Although we'll probably get less guests.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone wants to eat probably necromantically infused bone marrow.
who really knows what they're eating at this time, right?
Just don't tell them. God, you guys are horrible.
Listen, they keep giving us free room and board. Or I have no problem feeding them skeletons.
Honestly, I wanted to make a dad joke at the time, but right when you knocked on the door for
And there
breakfast
goes all
told
my
us,
paladin powers.
Hold on, what was the dad joke gonna be?
oh, I didn't know he was talking still. Sorry, I wanted to make a dad joke when you knocked on the door and said the horse is prepared when you were telling us about breakfast,
Yeah.
but I felt like I've already made way too many.
I'm
went on to
so
make more.
like not getting it.
Prepared as in food. You're about to. Like,
Oh,
we're eating horse is what
Nice.
basically the joke would have been. We've talked about eating goblin, now boar. Real culinary journey this campaign.
I mean, if everyone's okay with hearing me sing a dumb goblin song, I don't think they're gonna have a problem with you making dad jokes.
Sure.
Well, at the very least, they won't complain because no one complained to me about the goblin song. I don't know if everyone liked it.
Oh, you didn't get my message.
Did you?
No, you're good.
Oh,
No,
okay. Don't do that to me, because sometimes I get so many, with the amount of games I have now and the amount of people that want to play in them, I get so many messages every week that every now and then that does happen. So like for a moment there, I was like, oh no.
People are really like, I hate it when you DM. Like,
No,
just like
but,
literally,
like-
that's what you do as a DM. You make voices, you sing a thing, or I don't know. You're doing
But,
your
like,
job.
Critiques and just reaching out to me generally. Like I had
Okay.
someone reach out to me in the last few weeks about like the format for which I have all of my character creation written in, because it's 100% not grammatically correct. And I was like, I'll get to it. Thank you. And they like sent me a manuscript of how it should be, and then I forgot who sent it to me and never changed it. Just stuff like that.
Looks like we lost. I'll take.
I
Well,
do
sweet.
feel like this session was better than session 1, at least when it came to like everyone's interactions with each other, which I feel like is pretty natural since, you know, you guys have spent some more time around each other. And I'm glad to see it feels like everyone's getting a little bit closer, both in and to a slightly lesser extent out of character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely fun to have interactions with the character.
And I think this session lended itself more to that since it wasn't just a huge stint of combat.
Yeah, it's hard to like get your characters to grow to know each other in combat, other than the typical like get it closer because you just fought a life and death battle together.
Right.
And I don't know if you're like, have you guys started to notice why my other group spent a bunch of sessions?
In town?
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff to do. I'm really curious about a lot of things, but I don't want to like distract too much. I already feel like I'm talking too much, but I'm trying to get us all to talk. So if at a certain point you feel like I'm hogging the spotlight, like I feel like Kiefer, you hardly talked, but like I'm trying to get us all to, I don't know. What do you guys feel? Just tell me to shut up if
I feel like as long as it's good with the character, then I think it's good. Because like I talked when my character would have talked.
Yeah, and that's what's tough playing characters like that. Yeah, like you seem antisocial, but you're not. You're just role playing.
Right. Majority of the time, he's probably looking around, constantly scouting for the next thing that's trying to kill us all. But at the same time, he gives these weird, awkward smiles because he's got this horrible scar and he's awkward.
I feel like I have a better peg on how Kiefer plays than anyone else here, just because we've played together so long. So that's why I haven't like addressed like the way he's role playing with anyone, because like I've seen him play a more talkative character and I know how he RPs, so I knew it wasn't a problem, but maybe I should have conveyed that previously.
Yeah, we just haven't like stumbled upon anything that would be like interesting to my character yet, so I haven't really talked too much. Like when we get into a little more like history, that sort of thing, my character would be naturally much more engaged.
And I really do, like, I know for every character in here, there is at least one place they could spend a bunch of time in. So, like, if you guys look around at this map, like, there's probably some shit in here you might be interested in, even if it doesn't pop out immediately.
Yeah, that academy catches my character's eye, just in case they have any manuscripts on Thessalonian history.
Once you guys have been in town longer and spent more time in town, I will just give you some information you would have picked up. So, like, expect, depending on how much time you guys spend in town, me to be like, here's some stuff that might interest your character.
Nice. Yeah, I was worried we'd have to break the party up. We killed our boar. We had our festival. Time to take our, go our separate ways. Thank God, these skeletons.
That freaking
Perfectly
boar
timed.
fight is kind of rough. Not in that, like, you guys took a bunch of damage, but just seeing everyone run around chaotically.
Right?
I mean, it's kind of how war fights are in real life, though. It's like trying
Yeah.
to surround it, get it pinned down. I only pulled the bow out because Osgik was kind of in trouble, but never got hit. So hey, here's to that.
Yeah, I'm lucky that he had to reroll so much.
I think if you had been other people, that Foxglove would have complained about it, but you guys are like the heroes of Sandpoint, and you just used this big badass bow, so he was like, thumbs up.
I find it interesting to have a fight where the enemy primarily runs from you, having slow characters, and then like a specialized weapon. So that was really interesting. The large, normally when we start a fight, we control where we start. We're in an area where I can bless, but I had to wait a long time. Like there was all these conditions that I had to consider. It was neat.
I think this early part of the campaign does a good job of giving you some like traditional combats and encounters, and then mixing it in with some stuff you normally wouldn't see.
Which is interesting to say, because wasn't this one of the first modules that they did? I don't know what they call it in Pathfinder.
Yes, adventure
Path.
paths.
So they were just like, here's all the things that you can do in a fight.
Yeah, they were basically showing off how Pathfinder works with Rise of the Runelords, because I believe this was the first one, and I think the one before it was 3.5 technically.
Yeah, they had a few before. Legacy of Fire is the one that I note just because I really like it, but it doesn't convert to Pathfinder well. Otherwise, I would run the hell out of it.
Yeah, I like Legacy of Fire too. Like I've read through the entirety of it, and I've played the first 3 books.
I actually have a kind of funny thing I accidentally did as a kid when I was running Legacy of Fire for the first time. You know the little gremlins, the Pugwampai from the beginning?
Yep.
Yeah, I accidentally, I still don't know how I did it. I think it was because I had a glitchy phone. I think the phone did it itself because I didn't do it on purpose. I worked at McDonald's at the time, and I accidentally uploaded a picture of the Grindylow to the Google images when you clicked on my McDonald's on the internet. So the final picture, it was just like a bunch of pictures of the building and McDonald's food, and then there was just this little demon dog with a knife sitting on a skull. And I had no clue how to get rid of it.
Mogwai.
I think I'm gonna end the stream real quick, so I'm gonna mute myself. Okay, that was a fun stream this week. Thank you for hopping in, checking out. I see you right there, Elshi. It's nice seeing you. Thanks for hopping in. I hope everyone has a good weekend. I'll see you